All right, good afternoon. This is Penelope Flynn, your co-host and moderator of Discussions from the Other Hood. I am here with the remainder of the Blerdsassins Next Door. We've got James, Otto, Nikki, and Sonia. And today we're going to be discussing Does It Matter If It's Black and White? So before we get started, we are going to talk about the weather. And James, your top center, how's the weather in New York?
Right now it's about 82 degrees. It's windy and oh my goodness, the sky is such a beautiful blue and orange.
Wow. Wow. See, that sounds
Lovely. Lovely.
Yeah, it's a
Almost
beautiful.
almost Knickerbockerish, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. Blue and orange.
yeah. Father Knickerbocker is smiling down on us.
Yeah. All right. So is this been consistent weather or is this new weather? What is it?
Uh, Actually, it was nice and cool earlier last week, but then when it came close to the weekend, that's when it started to get hot. You know, hot at
Yeah.
least by our standards,
Yeah.
not Texas standards.
Yeah. Like normal people standards.
Yeah,
Like New York cool standard, right?
yeah. It's not like not like Texas where you're constantly burning up on reentry.
Yes, yes, exactly. And that's something I guess we're gonna be dealing with coming up pretty soon. And Otto, speaking of the Texas weather, how's the weather?
It's coming up now because it's kind of hot and it's rainy. And, you know, that's pretty much it.
And
It's
that's
go-
terrible when it's hot and rainy, it's humid and just ridiculous.
yeah. And so I'm staying inside. I don't be going out in that weather like that. So I'm not used to it. I still haven't gotten used to it. Oh, and by the way, I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm all over the place. So I'm like all over the internet looking at stuff, and I
Hmm.
saw a deleted scene from the movie Heavy Metal. Y'all remember that movie?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a movie called Heavy Metal. It's an animated movie. Has all the like Devo and all those people making doing the
Soundtrack,
soundtrack.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a scene that allegedly was cut for a time, and I just saw it this morning.
Really?
Yeah,
You didn't send
and
it to
then
me?
no, I didn't send it to you because I saw it on YouTube
Oh,
on the
okay.
television, so I couldn't send it to you.
Hmm.
So and apparently my mother used to say TV is bad for you, and now I agree with my mom because I was watching television, I was watching like Prime Video, and there's a channel for everything. Every single thing that you could think of, there's a channel for it. There's a channel for Nikki like court shows. There's a
Yeah.
channel for everything. There's a channel for like whether or not paternity court, divorce court, people's court. It's all of this stuff. There's a That Girl channel, Alfred Hitchcock channel,
Wow.
Out of Limits channel, Antique Roadshow channel. Every single thing you could think of. TV is bad for you because if you sat there and watched that like that, you would never leave your room. You would never leave your house. You would never have a conversation with people. And that's not
Wow.
right. The other thing
Wow.
before I give it up to Nikki is the Tony Awards is tonight. And it seems
Mm-mm.
different now because it used to be that musicals inspired movies. Now it
Hmm.
seems like movies are inspiring TV Broadway shows. So it's
Like
kind of
what, for
reversed.
instance?
Like the Lost Boys. It's like,
It's a film, yeah.
yeah, so now it's a Broadway show. It's up
But
for
the
a
thing is,
Tony.
but it's kind of weird because okay, the film is an adaptation, well, not adaptation. It's a reimagining of characters from a book. So
But still, it's like the movie came out first.
right,
It
exactly.
used to be the musical, Broadway musical came out first, and then the movie came out. But now we put into reverse order. But anyway, that's all I got, y'all. Rainy and
No, but
hot.
that's probably because I guess with the Lost Boys they're going towards Generation X or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and their
But
viewing
they never saw
habits.
the original.
Yeah, and plus their viewing habits are completely different from ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Mm.
like you see the Broadway show and then watch the movie. No,
Hmm.
see the movie first, or see the television show and then watch the Broadway show.
Mm.
So
Well,
okay,
I won't be watching the Tony Awards anyway, so I'm not worried about that. I'll be watching Questlove's documentary about Earth, Wind, and Fire.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah. Nah. Oh, yeah, as for weather, it's 88 degrees here and it's cloudy.
Wow. Is it been like that for a week, or is this weather just
It's
moving
been
in?
cloudy and raining for like about 3 or 4 days this week.
Okay. Well, do you need the rain, or you prefer not to have it?
Right now, I don't want the rain because it's knocking the mangoes off the tree, and I can't go
Oh,
out there and get them, and mommy can't either. So I don't
oh
need
well.
no, I don't need no rain.
Okay. All right. And how about you, Sonia? How is it in upstate New York?
We're in the 70 degrees right now. So we have the 70.
Oh, you're coming in really, really muffled just now.
How's that?
Ah, perfect.
Okay, it's 70 degrees right now and cloudy. We're consistently in when it gets low. It's in the lower 70s like today. It's only going to reach 73, but then it's going to be rainy again, and of course that's the hottest day, so it's going to be really muggy and nasty
But other
come
than that,
to
it
middle of
sounds.
the week. But
Yeah, other than
all
that,
in
it
all,
sounds
it's been
great.
pretty good.
But that sounds great to have it that cool this time of year.
I couldn't hear her. What did she say?
It's
Uh,
70 and cloudy here, but
she here
it's
now?
so
Nope.
nah,
Don't
Is
I
that
tell
hear,
me.
her?
I hear.
I hear her.
I hear
Weird.
too. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, at first it sounded like she was in the middle of being kidnapped, but
no. You would have heard me say things like, "Give me that chili pepper," so you would know I'm in trouble.
Okay. All right. So where we are now is that at least we're all surviving, right?
Yeah, I'm finally over that nasty crud that floored me for a month
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
half.
Wow. So where did you pick it up? Do you know?
I have no idea where we picked it up, but it's going around because a friend of mine on the other side of the state had it just as nasty as we did.
Hmm.
Um, Only mine turned into a sinus and lung infection. And so that's what
Wow.
floored me the last 2 weeks of it.
Wow. Well, I'm
So
glad that
okay.
you're
coughing and
over it.
all that. So I bruised my right side of my rib cage.
Wow. Why are you doing that stuff?
I
Was
don't
you,
know. Every time I
was
get
you,
sick,
was you in a
somebody
cage?
point, yeah,
You in a
somebody
cage
pointed
match?
it out. Every time I get sick, I
Oh,
cough really hard and bruise one side or another.
Was
my
it a cage
goodness.
Last
match
year it was my
or a
left side.
lumberjack
This time it
match?
was my right side. So
Oh my God, German suplex.
Yeah, she said she's not telling us that way. She's making her money. Like you said, she's doing those cage matches on the side.
My God,
or I'm
goodness.
auditioning for the next Star Trek movie to be a thick Klingon.
All right.
Okay.
Have
By the
fun.
way, there's a Star Trek channel, but it's not the original Star Trek channel. It's Star
Uh-huh.
Trek: The Next Generation. Of all the Star Trek series to have a dedicated channel to, that's what they
Yeah.
dedicated a channel.
Well, I guess because they were on the air long, so they have a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, that's a lot better than a Enterprise channel.
Oh, please, please, sir. We don't even want to say those words. They'll put that out into the atmosphere so that somebody picks it up and thinks that you were serious.
They're actually talking about doing a Captain Archer series. So
No, no, don't. Just don't do it. Don't
No,
do it. Don't do it.
no, don't. It's
Well, you know what?
no.
I'll say this. If there is ever a Star Trek that they decide that they want to redo for any reason, that's the one that should be redone. I think they scrap the whole concept they had originally, rethink it, and redo it
well,
because
this
that's
would be
not a good idea.
the one they're talking about is a continuation where he's
No,
essentially one of the first presidents of what will become the Federation.
no,
Oh,
no, they don't need to do that. What they need to do is take that.
that is. It's time for my lurch impression. Ooh.
Oh, we need to do
Ooh.
that. We need to have that. Have ourselves a lurch. Ooh.
Hey,
There's an
Ooh.
Adams Family channel too, y'all.
No.
It's
Thank
a whole
you.
family. I'm
Thank you.
telling y'all, it's got everything.
It's got every
500 channels and nothing to watch, huh?
not
Oh yeah, I
anymore.
watch it, man.
Not
That's why
anymore,
it's
man.
like dope. It's like heroin, man. Stay away from it. I'm warning y'all. Stay away from these
Really,
channels.
So
yeah.
that's how you get your kicks, baby.
No, I
Yeah.
don't. I get my kicks watching the Knicks. I'm not watching no channel.
Yeah, man. But good and full well that you're watching those things. What is it we're doing now?
The
Outer
Outer
Limits
Limits channel
channel. So yeah, they
and
have that.
the Creep Show channel.
Oh my gosh, the Creep Show actually is very good. Creep Show channel is very good. So if you are thinking about which way to roll on this, and you don't mind that type of horror, it is really good.
But talking about the Adams Family channel, the original Adams Family show, like our topic today, is in black and white. So are younger people going to watch that stuff, or more inclined older people?
I would hope that younger people will start to get into these things that are black and white. Otherwise, they're missing out on so much of our film and television that actually was good, and things that were quirky, and things that were, I would say, even
Yeah.
kind of working through a lot of our societal issues through comedy and through drama, and they're missing it because it's not in color. I think that when Ted Turner tried to colorize some of the older films, he made it even worse because the colorizing they did was so horrific and looked so chalky and dumb that what a waste. Maybe nowadays, with all of the capabilities that we have technically, that someone could actually go back and colorize something and make it actually look like it was a first run film in color. But previous efforts have failed, and I think made people
But should
really,
they?
but I think they should not have tried to do it in the first place. But if there's something that people would watch, if it was in color, that's in black and white, I don't see why there's a problem in doing two versions. For instance, one of the things I listed, which is something you turned me on to, was Godzilla minus one,
Minus one, minus
Godzilla
zero,
minus one
minus
is the
zero
new one.
later this year. Yeah.
So one minus one, and it's done, of course, in color. But then they did a version in black and white. It's very interesting to see the black and white version because it's almost like you're watching the Godzilla film from back when we were children, when King Kong, that when we watched it back then. Of course, it's in black and white. So they have this film. It is in black and white, and the only thing I was fine with it up until the time that the monster first appeared. And I mean, first appearance, it's the second appearance. I could deal with the first appearance, but the second appearance of the monster, because he starts to metamorphose and the colors of the monster change. And I think that that's very key to some of the visual impact that we get from the film. That I got to that point and I said, okay, I can switch over and watch the color version. So we switched over to the color version. We got to the point where the monster begins to metamorphose. And, but other than that, I think if I'd never seen the color version, maybe I would have been okay. And in fact, thinking the way that I am now, I think I may want to go back and watch the black and white version and see how it is that they are able to convey the same level of change in the monster in black and white. I mean, I guess maybe we're cheating a little that I get to see it done in color because I know, it's this color now, and it changed to another color, later, and then another color. So without those colors, how are they through shape,
Well, just like everything else. I mean,
able to show that there's a change?
well, just like I mean, when we were growing up, not everybody had a color TV, except for James, who had his thing with his color TV.
Yes,
But not
Dad,
everybody else had
film
color
over the
TV.
front, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the
So
magic of
like
color sheet.
Yes.
yeah. So if you saw a movie like the Ten Commandments or something, right?
Hmm.
So the kids would come. You would come back to school the next day, and there'd be a bunch of kids who would say, "Oh man, you saw the thing with the thing turned to fire and all the yellow and the fire," and you say, "Yeah, yeah, I saw that." You don't see none of that on black and white.
No,
Yes.
well,
You don't see, but it didn't take away from your enjoyment of the movie, right?
Right,
well,
but I'm
well,
thinking certain issues. I'm sorry, James. Go ahead.
yeah. No, well, I was going to say when you say young people would, might want to watch the Adams Family,
They might
it,
not want to.
or might not want to. Well, some probably will because, as they say, everything old is new again.
Hmm.
What we got to understand is back in the 1960s, right? Our older brothers and sisters or whatever, and especially hippies and people that were coming up of age and
Mm-hmm.
during the time of Vietnam and all that, it was a very nostalgic thing to watch black and white, and that would be like Abbott and Costello, the Marx
Hmm.
Brothers,
Yes.
um, the Maltese Falcon. A lot of people, young people at that time, would get into black and white. Okay, another thing is that some of the stuff back then that was done was okay. Some of it was done for artistic reasons, like what is our favorite movie, Diabolique? What-
Diabolique. Yes.
Yeah, but some movies were done for economic reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, Columbia Pictures back in the day, they would have. I'm called the King of the Bees. Columbia Pictures was the Skid Row cheapo King of the Bees movie. I kid you not. That was the cheap movie studio. And one thing that they did was if you went to Columbia Pictures and you wanted to make a movie, you had to really twist their arm and plead to get it done in color because
Wow.
their main thing, Columbia Pictures, was black and white film stock.
Hmm.
Okay, if you notice, there was even some pictures going into the late 1950s that were not done by Columbia for artistic reasons, but were done because they were just trying to cut costs.
Wow.
It wasn't until they won a couple of Oscars that they started to get that prestige.
Mm-hmm.
But I think young people today of the other generations below us, they're not interested in black and white stuff, and I think they miss out. And I think it's the same kind of mindset where we have back in the day, James, you know this, growing up in New York, that we always had access to silent movies, right?
Yeah,
So you had all the Charlie Chaplin, the Hal Roach stuff, the stuff where people
right,
people aren't
right.
talking. A lot majority of the country, they didn't have access to any of that stuff. They didn't watch movies then where people didn't talk. It's
Yeah.
like it's a waste of time. And I think that's the way that people look at black and white movies now.
I think
It,
that
yeah. Go
I was
ahead.
going to say I think it's changing because more and more now directors are choosing black and white instead of defaulting to color. Case in point, Marvel had it was a TV special presentation, Werewolf by Night. They did it both. They did the original presentation was black and white,
Mm-hmm.
d- uh, quite deliberate choice by the director, and then later they quote colorized it, and the audience for the black and white was much larger, and it was mostly young people than the color version. In fact, a lot of people said they didn't even like the color version
Why
because
is that?
because you actually where the monster you didn't see the monster, but you saw when it struck.
Uh-huh.
And so when black and white, your imagination, you didn't have to see the red
Mm-hmm.
blood and all the other stuff that happened when the monster came around. Your imagination picked that up, and people enjoyed that more. So they repeated the same thing with Spider Noir that just dropped on
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. And people again are saying, yes, there are subtle things you see in color, certain Easter eggs you see in
Mm-hmm.
color, but they're not essential to the plot. But the plot was better served in the black and white version.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas Cage is bad in that, by the way. I can't stand to hear his voice in that. But the thing is, I think you have to factor in that people have a choice. So if you go back and watch Psycho, right, Alfred Hitchcock, he chose to make that in black and white, right? But
Mm-hmm. Yes.
it's not like, oh, I'm going to watch the color version or I'm going to watch the black and white version. That's all there is. And the same thing with Charlie Chaplin, right? There's black and white. There's nothing else.
Well, there
and,
were
and it,
colorized thanks to Ted Turner, but those
yeah,
didn't
but that's
last
not
very
that's
long.
not yeah, that's like somebody with a paintbrush painting in the Mona Lisa, putting rosy cheeks on her or something.
Well,
It's not the original thing.
well, actually, back in the day with silent movies,
Mm-hmm.
there is a colorized version of the Phantom of the Opera where they actually did paint in color onto the film.
Hmm.
You know, and the thing about the Phantom of the Opera is that you have so many versions of it. I'm talking about the Lon Chaney version, the original, where they it was silent. Then they added sound. Then they added extra scenes to it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they colorized it. In fact, how you could tell the difference between the original Phantom of the Opera and the sound version of it, which is hard to find these days, is that at the beginning, one of the actors, I guess, is a stagehand. He actually comes and breaks the fourth wall and talks to the audience.
Hmm.
But that version is very hard to find. Just like I would love somewhere in the world for somebody to find London After Dark. That's like the holy grail of silent movies, cause
But how many people do you know that
uh,
you run into that have seen or even know who Charlie Chaplin is?
yeah, very listen, very very. The only people that know about Charlie Chaplin is either two ways: either they're film buffs, or they might have saw the version with, what is it, Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, the film, the Chaplin, the
Yeah,
Even
bio.
that's old. What is that, like
Yeah,
over 30 some years old?
yeah.
strangely, yeah.
Yeah, so when we talk about silent films in black and white, it's in a way like Sonya was describing, making a bit of a comeback. But the bottom line of foundation is people who are really into film
Mm-hmm.
will sit and watch something in black and white and see what the average person, I hate to say, doesn't understand is certain films you should watch in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it's the nuance of the black and white, especially if it's a two-fisted crime movie.
Yeah, but if you're doing your stories, right, the noir stories, like,
Like,
yeah, the Sam Spade kind of stuff, that's typical. But I think a lot of this stuff is going especially a lot of the older movies, like people are saying, you know if you do a poll, stupid polls,
right.
what's your favorite film? There are going to be a lot of colored films on there.
Oh yeah,
It's not
yeah.
going to be Citizen Kane. Not going to be up there. Treasure Sierra Madre. It's not going to be all that. It's going to be a bunch of stuff. Star Wars.
Star Wars
Maybe.
that
Yeah,
comes
it's
to
going to be
mind.
up in there. It's going to be, there will be blood. All these movies
Yeah.
like that. And so, being in color is so ubiquitous now. It's just all over, and the way that you live your life in color. You
Mm-hmm.
dream in color. Graphic novels are in color for the most part.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's there's black and white doesn't have a place in our life really.
Well, yeah. Again, it goes to age because for me, like I just got finished reading Raymond Chandler's Lady of the Lake. Okay, and I fell in love with this that book. Okay, I every time Marlowe's line in the dialogue would come up, I found myself reading it in Humphrey Bogart's voice.
Yeah. I can see that.
Which to me, anything black and white with Humphrey Bogart, that's classic there. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, but you know what? Do we see those? I mean, do people watch those anymore?
No, they don't. I mean, there's a the Maltese Falcon, the the Marlowe character, and I think it's been updated. I think it was what's the guy's name who did Night of the Hunter? What's the actor's name?
Robert Mitchum.
Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum, and it's color. It's in color,
Yeah,
and
What's in
so
color? Wait, what is in
the
color?
film is in color. The film
yes,
is in color.
it's in
Marlowe's in
color.
Wow.
color.
Yeah, yeah,
They
Yeah.
redid it?
No, it
yeah,
didn't redo. It kind of be. It's a continuous. It's another story by Marlowe partaking in a Raymond Chandler
yeah.
Okay.
story.
And it's a color version, and you're like, huh?
Yeah, it's like it's hard to unsee that because like James said, you're thinking about Bogart doing the role,
Right,
and he's in
right.
black and white, and then you have Mitchum doing it, and it's in color, and it's just like kind of shocking almost, but it's especially somebody like Mitchum, who you mostly see in black and white
In black and
movies,
white.
and now he's in a yeah, it's like in color movies. It's almost like seeing Charlie Chaplin in a silent movie, and now he's doing Hamlet or something. He's talking all over the place. You know what I mean? I mean, I never heard Charlie Chaplin's voice. I have no idea what he sounds like.
I have.
Oh, yeah,
Great
the
Dictator?
Great Dictator. Yeah,
Yeah.
Is he
yeah,
imitating Hitler, or is that
No,
him
he
just
speaks at the end in his own voice.
yeah.
yeah? But it's not memorable to me. I mean, he did it. I understand he did, but I don't remember his voice. I mean, it's not like someone could say it's just this, distinguishable voice. Maybe it is.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
he could
remember it.
only, to put it mildly, he is a person who could only have had a career during silent movies.
Yeah, so his voice was made for silent movies.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
But
was not, I mean, it was okay, but it's just like a regular
it's
voice.
not
It's not,
Bogart, it's not Mitchum, it's
no,
not
no,
Orson
no,
Welles or something like that, right?
no. He does not have one of those voices.
it's a kind of I can't a kind of very British upper crust type voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, he thank God for silent movies, which by the way, a lot of um a lot of silent movie actors, that's how they lost you know
hmm
their
They
way of
didn't have the
life.
voice.
They
Yeah.
didn't have the voice.
But
You see somebody in as maybe a pirate in a silent movie, and he's a manly looking man, and then the first talk he's like, "Well,
no, it's
man,
crazy.
I got
But
the hatches."
check it out. I mean, those people, young or old, that don't like silent movies because number one, it's in black and white, and
hmm
number two is no sound to it. I mean, they're not talkies, so to speak,
hmm
as that term is used. They'll miss out. Remember the Charlie Chaplin scene that he's on roller skates
Oh
Right.
and
my
he's
goodness.
skating. They
I
miss out
was
on that. So you miss
amazed. That
all of that
that
is
made
missed
me a
out.
fan. Yeah, that
Well,
made me a fan.
well, you know what I think turns some people off the silent movies, and unfortunately the actors had to do it, is that being that it was a silent movie, you had to emote. I think the word is emote, and do
Yeah.
histrionics, and if it was something that was sad, you had to put your hand up to your head, your
Yes,
forehead, and
yes,
But that's a little,
yes.
yeah, a little bit. But if you what's the name of the Charlie Chaplin film where he is he's doing a party and nobody shows up? What's the name of
City Lights, is that it?
I think it may be City Lights, right? So
Uh,
so he's doing that movie, and what do you do in a movie like that in order to get people interested? It's like you could colorize it, and then you add some vocals to it, and then you just ruined it,
yeah,
right?
and because nobody wants to sit there and read. They say what to read. It's like subtitles. American film with subtitles. English films with subtitles, and people don't want to have to
People
read
don't like
subtitles.
subtitles. People
yeah.
don't like
But
them.
I don't think what I mean. It's like it's just
But you add
gimmick.
the voice. If you add the voice to City Lights or The Great Dictator
I
or
think
any of
that
your
you
other
destroy
movies,
it.
you add a voice to it.
Yeah,
You think they would
because
enjoy it
I think you destroy it.
or destroy it? Yeah.
I think that you have to. I don't know when I'm listening. I decide what the people sound like. I decide what the main character sounds like. I decide what the individual sounds like, who is the bad guy or the good guy or whatever. But it's very interesting. I know just now I'm going to put it in the comments. I don't think I can play it because it was such a horrible time when I played something that was, um, we call it in our thing here, and it was that they took us down for a while. They put it back up, but I don't want to fight with them about that playing the video. But I'm going to put in the comments so that if you want to play it yourself, to hear what Chaplin sounded like, and here you go.
But I mean, that's people had to use their imagination for a bit. I mean, it requires a little bit of work from the audience. It's like Psycho. I think
Hmm.
somebody said they use like chocolate thing or something for the blood or something for the blood. I'm not
Hmm.
sure what it
Hmm.
was, but it wasn't red, right? So
Right.
the audience imagination is when Janet Leigh gets stabbed in the shower. The
Yes.
scene is that you think it looks to you like blood, but it's not even red. Because
Right.
it can't be
But
red because it's black
yes.
and white.
Right. And so we know that's what it's supposed to be, so we can extrapolate that that's what it is.
And your imagination is going to be way more frightful than anything they show on television
Right.
on the movie, right?
Right.
So it requires a little bit of work. So I think audiences now, for lack of a better word, have been groomed to be lazy.
Well,
And that
I think
spoon
that's
fed. But I'm sorry, James was saying
mm,
something. I'm going to piggyback on something you said earlier about the fact of films being done into the 50s, etc., that were in black and white. But the one thing I remember, because you talked about the concept of chocolate syrup, was Raging Bull, which was,
Right. That
yeah,
too. Yeah.
hmm that same
Yeah.
concept that this is not blood, it's chocolate syrup, but it has the right consistency and it looks the way they want it to look on film, and in order to uh, have the same consistency as blood or look like blood if it were in a black and white
So
film.
they're not requiring anything from their audience. It's like we're going to show it all to you, so you don't have to try to figure anything out. We're going to lay it all out for you. So it's not going to be anything implicit or
Hmm.
you
Everything's
know,
explicit.
yeah,
But
everything's
we,
really
uh,
explicit.
so what were you saying, James, before I jumped in?
oh no, I was just saying that it's it just goes along with technology. Back then with silent movies, you had to going to a silent movie was a total experience. You had to focus, read the subtitles.
Hmm.
You had to watch the actors in some cases overact, okay, to get their character across. And you also had to actually, in some cases with silent movies, you had actually somebody playing a piano.
Yes, there's
Yeah,
live
they were
music.
banging away on the
Hmm.
piano.
You
The
know what
live
I'm saying?
music, that goes along with it.
There's no Bernard Herman. It's like somebody just
Yeah,
banging away on the piano
but
as
understand,
hard as
for
they
instance,
can with the heaviest fingers
yeah,
anyone ever
but
had.
understand that people like Chaplin actually wrote the music to his films.
Yeah, but it
So,
wasn't. I mean, it's great pieces, but it wasn't. I mean, even the music now is curated to get you to a certain state of emotion or
but I think
feeling a
it
certain
always,
way.
but I think that is always the case when they have music that is certainly keyed to how it is that they want you to feel. And on top of that, you know, it's an interesting experience because they have the same piece of music, the same sheet music goes to everyone. But depending upon how well that musician plays, or how poorly or whatever, that you get a different experience in that film, than somebody maybe
Well,
watching
even
the same
yeah, but I
film in
mean,
a different city.
well, it's like but watching heavy metal, right? So they have Devo playing in the background. I'm
Hmm.
trying to think, why is this Devo song playing? Do they want me to feel a certain way? How am I supposed to feel about the scene? And I'm
Hmm.
thinking about it because I'm familiar with the Devo song,
Hmm.
but and so your brain starts, the wheels start turning. But nowadays it's like everything is laid out for the audience. The audience is not expected really to bring anything to the film at all.
Well, I think with heavy metal, the song itself was through being cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're being cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and being and see, this is why Devo will never be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because they were very anti-corporate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that song, with through being cool, was basically a message that, we're tired of being with the herd
Right,
and going along. We're going in a different direction, which heavy metal in and of itself was, I mean, a revolutionary
right.
piece
But
of work,
I'm watching the movie,
right?
and I hear that song, and I know all this,
Hmm.
and so I'm thinking, how does the song fit with the movie? You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying
Yeah.
to sync the two. You know, and
Hmm.
and in a lot of movies we see nowadays, this is just it's just there. I mean, it's just there for you. It's everything just laid out for you because I think they don't want you to do any work at all. They don't want you
Yeah,
to.
and to tell you the truth, now here's where I really sound like somebody's grandpa or a boomer, because I'm very, very disappointed with the music that has been going along with film for the last 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. You don't
Mm-hmm.
to name, okay, I want you guys to name me somebody, film composer recently, and I'm talking about of a different generation, the upcoming generation,
Mm-hmm.
that's on the same level as like a Bernard Herrmann.
I mean,
What's his
not in recent
name?
generation.
How about
I mean,
the guy who did the does a thing for the Simpsons and all that? What's his name?
Danny
Danny,
Elfman.
well, see, Danny Elfman
Like you're
is,
saying, like current
yeah,
person.
Oh,
yeah,
current
and,
stuff.
and Danny
Yeah.
Elfman is heading more towards our time, to tell
Yeah,
you the
he's
truth.
our generation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was, even, you see, people, a lot of people don't know he was new wave, with Oingo
Yeah.
Boingo.
I
You
go
know what I'm
Boingo.
Right.
saying? You
Yeah.
know, but I'm talking about like recently. I mean,
I can't think of anybody because I think nowadays I think correct me if I'm wrong, and everyone feel free to do so. But it seems like the movies are leading into soundtracks that they spin off on Spotify or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like somebody Bernard Herman making music for Jason and the Argonauts. He's not thinking about I wonder if my album is going to sell. I'm just trying to do this. I'm
Yeah,
just
this
trying to
is
do
his
this thing
job.
so maybe the skeletons rise up out of the ground and I have the appropriate xylophone music or something.
yeah, and I mean, his work was so fantastic that I don't care how many times I hear it, and especially I heard an outtake where he's talking to the orchestra, and he say, "Okay, everybody, now this time we're gonna do it with feeling." You
Yeah,
know?
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
Well,
mean, the day the earth stood still, that sound, that piece right there, it just raises the hair on the
yeah,
back
but I
of my
don't think you're
neck.
gonna get that. I don't think you're gonna get that anymore because I think now you have corporations swallowing other corporations. So if I have a scene and Penelope is fighting with James and James is fighting with Sonia, I just get something that I own already, like a piece
Right.
from Rihanna or something. I just
Right.
put it in.
Right. Because I already own it.
I just stick that in there. I don't need I don't need Bernard Herman anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just recycling things I already
Yeah, I
own.
already own it, so I'm just
yeah,
gonna use that.
yeah. I hate to say it, at one point with at least the TV shows, it seemed like with Star Trek, it's the same orchestrations at
Oh
one
yeah,
point.
we used to say.
I love that. I love that.
Oh,
The original
well,
series.
yeah, the original
Yeah.
series was cool. Okay, the gamesters is Triskelion or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the money, but it seemed like somewhere after after the next generation going
Hmm.
into Voyager, it's like they was just, the orchestrations were just the
I love
same.
Voyager. I mean, but this John Williams, I think, did everything after the Alexander Courage era. I think was done by John Williams. But I
Yeah.
love the Voyager theme. I think it's.
No, the Voyager theme was great.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, on a good day, the Voyager theme used to bring a tear to my eye,
It's
because
Yes. Yeah.
calming.
yeah,
It's
it
I mean,
sounds,
it's,
calming.
yeah, it
yeah.
sounds like, it's
Something's
basically,
gonna be done. We're
yeah,
doing something.
Well, yeah,
and
but
we're lost. You
Yeah, the
know,
thing is though, it puts you in a bind in this kind of binary thing where do you enjoy music created by humans or do you enjoy music created by AI more? Because I think people think for various reasons that AI can make music better than human beings can,
and
or just as good as music as human beings.
and that's sad.
It is
That's
sad
really
because
sad.
We
If
had
if
I
somebody from a well-known and prestigious university come to town and tell us that, and just was so proud of it. And we're like, "What the hell are you
and
doing,
he
man?"
played it, and it was like terrible. It's like, do you have a tin ear and no musical background, or you don't even have to have a musical background? Have you never listened to music in your life? Basically, that's what it comes down to. Have you never listened to music, ever heard what music sounds like? That's the only way that you could think that
Yeah,
this
but you know
is
what? He's in the
music.
majority, and we're in the
I
minority
don't
on
think he
that.
is. I don't think he's a
nah,
majority. I
I
think
don't
he's
think.
just. I think
Yeah,
it's a very vocal minority.
yeah, yeah. That's what I think because if you're a person, and I'm talking about any age that appreciates music, whether you
Hmm.
listen to it, whether you're a connoisseur, whether you played it yourself,
Hmm.
it's no way that AI can replace the human touch. Okay, there's no way. I was listening to on YouTube, somebody came with AI of Jimi Hendrix playing with the Doors, and I'm like, is what the Fusenglasen
Yeah,
Fargenuggen is
yeah.
this?
They can
You
mix. They can mix that, right? They could mix somebody, James Brown playing with Earth, Wind, and Fire or something. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
There's bluegrass versions of Thriller out there.
yeah.
I mean, I
That's
think
just
these things is like. I mean, they to me they are novelty act things. That's
Yeah,
all they are. They're just novelty acts. They're
you
not.
think. I don't think so.
but
I don't think they are.
To me, it's a novelty act. I mean, but you think about the fact that these people stopped Natalie Cole from singing the film, I mean,
With their
singing the song
dad.
with her dad, and
Yeah.
they got, I don't know, some sort of injunction joining her from doing the song, what is that, Unforgettable,
Yeah.
and
Which
which was
was
ridiculous.
insane to me.
Why would you presume that her dad would not want a song done with his daughter when she became a
Yeah. Are
singer?
you kidding?
That is
I,
And,
I, at
ridiculous.
least that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
and
Hmm.
meanwhile, we're dealing with what's the AI singer's name? And it freaking kills me because they got an image of it, Holly Norwood.
I don't know what that is, man.
She doesn't exist.
I don't know what that is, man.
Yeah, there's this AI singer Holly Norwood, and they're trying to make her the first AI star.
Yeah.
Okay, and I
Hmm.
like, and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's certain AI things I enjoy. Like I love when they do the AI stuff with Star Trek and the Joker video. But the bottom line, as far as I go, it just can't compete with the human touch. I mean,
Well, let me say this though.
uh huh.
So I think that goodbye Bernard Herrmann. He ain't coming back.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Um, as long
Composers for movies. I mean, that's one of the things that's taken away, right? It's taken away that somebody is going to say, "Hey, James, I want you to do a theme for a movie where this thing happens to this person. I really want to emote to the audience. I want to give a certain, background or something."
that
That's
job is
gone.
gone.
I
That
just
job is
jab it
gone.
into AI. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
jab it into AI, or
it's gone.
yeah, or I used a
It's
piece
gone.
from Aretha Franklin or something that I own because I'm corporately own everything now.
Yeah,
That's gone.
Hmm.
that's gone. Yeah, yeah. Anybody, and I feel sorry for the young person that that went to school and majored in music, and
Hmm.
they had the dream of becoming a Hollywood composer like John
Right.
Williams or Elmer
Right.
It's
Bernstein or
Right.
suppressed. The only way to me, I'm not an artist, but I enjoy art in all forms. But I think you have somebody like that in order for them to express themselves in an artistic fashion, they are going to have to use AI.
I
Yeah,
don't think they have to, but I think that it cost wise, that's where it gives you that's where you get crunched.
yeah.
You know?
And again, it's sad because let me tell you, one of the greatest feelings I had in the world was when I was marching with a senior drum and bugle corps up in Westchester County, and we were working on Battle Hymn of the Republic, and at one point we're playing it, and for a couple of seconds I'm saying to myself, "Oh shit, we got this
Yeah.
down
That feeling.
packed." That
That
feeling.
feeling. Yep.
Yeah.
We got it tight. All the only
Yes.
thing missing is Lincoln and Grant coming through the
Yeah.
front
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
know what that's you know what that's you know what that's called to me? That's called soul.
Yes,
Mm,
It's soul. So it's got a connectivity that you can't get through artificial means. But I
yes.
think that is it going to become a point where people don't play instruments anymore?
mhm.
And you're
I
not going to get somebody playing a bassoon or a tuba or anything like that because those
Mhm.
are fringy instruments.
I hate to
Yeah.
say it, but that's the way we're going. Just like with black and white film. You
That's what
know,
I'm
we
saying. I'm
we
saying
we
that.
we over the no matter what. Okay, black and white film was the the majority of people that watch it are people that are in connoisseurs
Mhm.
of film.
Right.
Okay, film buff, film students. Um, Hopefully, with this little trend where they're doing stuff simultaneously in color and black and white, hopefully that'll work. And also the fact that somebody recently took a poll and found out that Generation Z actually hates AI. Okay, but it's again, this is the world we live in. Just
Yeah,
like
I don't think you're going to have
Well,
I don't think you're going to have a say in it.
black and white tends to brings the connotation of history. So, if you see something black and white, you can say, "Oh, that happened a long time ago."
Yeah.
Where
yeah,
color puts it in your face and you see it, it's a
It's a
now
now
thing.
thing. I mean,
now, baby,
Right.
So it
it's like
depends
watching the
on what
news.
the genre. If you put it in black and white, like horror works perfectly for
right,
black and white because
Mhm.
that's far removed from you. It takes you further out of it. So
right.
you're not in the physical danger. When it's in color, you're right there in the midst of all the gore and
Because
horror going
it's like real life. It's like they
on.
don't show that when you watch the news is not in black and white. It's in color. And when you
Yes.
walk outside or when you dream or when you see anything in your life is this red, blue, orange, yellow, green,
Yeah.
all the colors. So,
Right.
black and white is other. And so, but it used to not be
But your memories are black and white.
my memories. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But it used to be back in the day. Even I mean, if you couldn't afford a color television, everything was entertainment was in black and white.
But you know, it said things like when you were saying that your memories are in black and white. Sonia, do you mean like when we used to watch the films? I used to get up and I'm a kid and I'm
No,
watching.
you remember things more concretely, even if they're fuzzy memories. So your body tends to fit. It's black and white. I remember it this way. So
I don't know. I don't
Yeah, I don't
know.
know about that one.
I know.
and so because you're not in the moment, so
Yeah,
your memories tend to be more concrete, more firm, more quote black and white. Where
Okay,
when you
you're
don't,
thinking of black and white in the term of like the
it's the
black and
same
white,
feeling.
yeah,
Yeah,
but not the
It's the same.
colors of black and white, just
Yeah,
the
but the
impression
same
of black and white.
impression is gives your brain
Okay,
the same impression.
all right, okay, I'm understanding what you mean now because I was just
I
like,
don't understand. I don't
no,
understand that.
just using the term like things that are in, it's right here in black and white. You know, like it's very definite that your
Oh, you
memories
mean
are
like
And
figuratively speaking? Is that what you're saying?
figuratively. Thank you,
yeah, and it
figuratively.
gives your
That's the word
brain the same because it's figure. Your brain can't tell the difference.
between
Your
the so your
brain
brain
treats
is
it the
literal.
same way.
Your brain,
I think okay, so you figuratively okay.
Yeah, it's
I thought you were
figuratively
saying
black and
right?
white, but it's
I thought you were saying literally my
no.
memories are
Are
in
Your
in black.
black and
Yeah,
yeah,
white.
that's what
And
I
I would
thought.
it's
say no,
figuratively
that's
black
not
and white, but your brain treats it literally. Do
my
you
brain
understand?
treats it really like it's black and white.
Yeah, it's because your brain treats anything you say and do as concrete.
I don't know about
It's
that
only
one.
you add in the blocks that help the self doubt and all
Well,
that
well,
colorizes
I don't know
things.
how
yeah.
you
Well,
could.
okay. I'm
I
gonna
don't know how
say.
you could.
Let me.
I'm
If
not sure
I
that's a
could.
provable thing.
If I could step in and say something, something I learned many years ago, and it was when my mother was getting her uh, doctorate, I think, at the time, and she was talking about thought processes, and the fact that you're talking to a child, her background is in elementary education, and discussing how it is that you give instruction to children, and you are not supposed to say, "Don't do a thing," because your mind doesn't consider too much. You don't remember the don't. You remember only the
Hmm.
do the thing. So when you are saying things, it should be said as an affirmative, not in a negative, because your brain will remember that. Even like in dieting and stuff, they say the same thing. To not do this, don't eat that, because your brain only remembers to eat that, not the don't.
Correct.
So then that's why you're fighting this craving or fighting this desire, to have that thing, because in your brain, every time you say don't eat that, your brain is only hearing eat that. So don't eat that. Say eat pineapples instead of don't eat cookies. Just eat pineapples. Eat mangoes. Eat an apple. Drink some water. So everything should be expressed as positives as opposed to negatives. So I think that it's in the same mindset as that.
Yes.
I don't. I don't. I don't want to be. I don't know. I want to. Keep
It's just
going.
the way your
I
brain
just.
processes things.
Yeah. I don't. I don't. I don't understand it, and that concept. That I'm not sure if it's provable, but anyway, what were we talking about? The Bernard Herrmann stuff and the
Black.
music.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
veered from black and white to music.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But the whole
So
point,
I.
I think, if we get back to like the black and white, because that music that was played during these quote unquote black and white films, did it have a lot more effect? Did we rely on the music like we
Yeah. I
talked
thought. I
about?
think so.
Yeah.
I
Are we
think so,
being
and the reason I
led?
think so because it was more. It was this and that instead of. You know what I mean? You watching let's say the movie The Treasure of Sierra Madre, right?
Hmm.
And the composer is Max Steiner, who's
Hmm.
the same guy who did the music who orchestrated for King Kong,
Hmm.
right? And you could hear some of the elements of that
Right.
composition, King Kong composition, and I think he also did Gone with the Wind. He made the Gone with the Wind too, and you hear some of that in the Treasure of Sierra Madre, and some of it is overblown. And some of it's like, okay, the guy shot a gun. That you don't really need all that extra music, but
Yeah.
but it's big, and
Yes.
it's emphasizing something. And I think that like I said, I think we're being groomed to be lazy. I think all
Well,
technology is grooming you to do
Well, I mean, a lot
less.
of things. It's like, when is technology important? Sometimes it makes us more efficient, but the issue is the certain things make us mentally more lazy. I mean, I think things to make us more physically efficient are good, but things that mentally make
I
us
think
lazy
so.
are not
I
good.
think it depends on the director. The
Hmm.
director sets the tone. Like Sinners and Black Panther are ones I can't tell you which themes, but I can tell you when I felt the different
Hmm.
themes on in both of those movies. And that's because Ryan Coogler and his composer went to school together,
Hmm.
studying the same film history stuff. So they
But
both have this common language
Right. That
that
makes
they
sense.
shorthand between them. I think a lot of directors now have not developed. A lot of the back in the day, the director and the composers knew each other, and they all used the same ones over and over because they could talk to each other and understand. And I don't think the studio system allows that anymore.
It's
no,
all corporate. I mean,
yeah,
because you could think of 98% of movies, or like we're talking about, either they're using stuff they already own the rights to, or they're using some AI music or some other stuff. But you other people who are intentional, like a Coogler or someone else, or even a M. Night Shyamalan or somebody like he used to.
Hmm.
You're thinking about the music. How does this affect this scene? How does it affect that scene? They're not thinking about all that when they make 98% of the movies that you see in the theaters now.
No,
Uh,
it's a different world, and I also think, back in the day, whether it was a black and white film or a color film, the music was just as powerful. It was just as powerful. I mean, the opening scene of Touch of Evil, even though it has its flaws with
Hmm.
Charlton Heston and Brownface, um, that opening scene and the music, I think that was Herman Mancini. Yeah,
Henry.
Henry,
Henry. Yeah,
but yeah, but is there going to be any music in 98% of the movies that we see that, like James said, is going to bring you to tears or have you a thing? They're not trying to get you that to that emotional level.
Mm.
They don't really care to bring you to that emotional level that you got to in a Kugler film where he's doing the aspera of all music. They're not trying to get you there.
no,
They
they're
just
not.
want you to see a thing. Here's the thing, see it, pay the money, leave.
Yeah,
Rinse and repeat.
yeah, and I also think that now it's like people have become kind of numb to feelings. You follow what I'm trying to say? I mean, like, okay, even though it was a color film, Doctor Shivago, okay, was it Laura's theme?
Hmm.
I mean, that just listening to that, you felt it, like Otto said, it was soul.
Yeah, they're not the
Yeah,
soul. It's the
but
soul.
you figure also a lot of these things are coming from, on the heels of the black and white silent film era, so they are well, you know, that's steeped in that tradition of
Yeah,
this emotional music.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it requires the audience to feel something,
Hmm.
and you could even call it manipulation of the audience. But there's none of that going on now. It's soulless stuff, and it almost seems like some sort of George Orwellian thing. I mean, think for instance, there's a new Animal Farm. I don't know if anyone's seen or heard about it.
yeah. I heard about it. Yeah,
Okay, so Penelope and I watched it.
Hmm.
Okay, so she fell asleep, and I
They
turned
can't
it off,
tell
and I turned
everybody.
it off. Not I turned it off not because she fell asleep. I turned it off because it has absolutely nothing to do with the book.
that's what they said. Yeah, it
Because
has.
it's just not, and then I saw somebody online on YouTube. He considered a smart, clever person,
He
give a
considers
review of the
himself.
movie,
He considers
but
himself a smart, clever person.
he considered, yeah, and
Yeah.
considered by others a smart, clever person, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I guess.
But you think he's reviewing the movie, and he said he read the book in like an hour or something. It's a very short book. Animal Farm is a very
Yes.
thin book. It doesn't take a whole day or week to read it. And so the thing is that you're hearing people and you're listening to people who are reading and critiquing things in which they have no context.
Yes.
So they don't know anything about communism, don't know anything about socialism, don't know anything about the Cold War, and they're critiquing someone else's missteps about a book in which they read without any context.
So it's the blind leading the blind.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And so that's a problem. And so now I know why the generation before us sounded like old fogies. Cause now we're starting to sound like old
Yeah,
fogies. It's because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so you're saying this stuff, but you're saying it out of context.
yeah,
You got to know who Lenin is. You got to know what the Bolshevik Revolution is. You got to know
Yes.
who Trotsky was. A guy from Brooklyn, by the way. And Trotsky, who he was and what that was all about. So, if you're saying it like, oh man, this it doesn't have it doesn't reflect the book at all, and
Yes.
the book is about something about capitalism, people being happy or something like that. It's like you missed the point. You're taking it out of context, and I think a lot of people are taking things and speaking without any contextual. kind of relevancy what they say, and they're all over the internet and they're all over social media, and people are really listening to them
Yeah,
and
yeah,
giving a lot of gravitas. I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I told you guys before. I had came across a video that said was claiming that Cab Calloway was a devil worshiper,
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
and I posted in the comment section. I said, see, this is why people need to pick up a book."
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
but they need more to pick up a book. They need some other extra stuff
Yeah.
because it's you and I picking up a book. You and I picking up a book in Animal Farm, like when we were growing up. We
Uh-huh.
knew exactly what they were talking about
Yeah.
because we grew
Yeah.
up during the Cold War and all that stuff like that. We knew it. And people
You know what
nowadays they
you're
talking
saying.
about, and the people talking about the news. And Penelope and I talk about this all the time. They talk about the news and they talking about we don't want a country to get a nuclear weapon. They have no idea what that is.
No idea.
They don't know what a nuclear weapon is.
Yeah.
They don't know how it's detonated. They don't know how it's delivered. They don't know how it's made. They don't know anything about it, and we're killing people back and forth and wasting billions of dollars over a thing that if you got a 25-year-old person just randomly off the street and asked them to describe what a nuclear weapon is, they couldn't tell you.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't. You know.
And
And
we
Nope.
lived
people.
half our lives. We lived half our lives when we were young in fear of that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we knew what it would do.
Yeah. Listen, I can remember PS-77. We hear the air raid siren,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to go and stand out in the hallway. And teachers told us don't stand near the door, because the school doors had glass
Mm-hmm.
panes. The more I found out about nuclear weapons through
Yeah,
film, mind you, like
nothing
a
your
black
Yeah.
ass to the
like a
yo.
black and white film, like what is it,
Uh-huh.
Fail Safe and whatnot,
Yeah,
and Doctor Stranger. The more I found out, more like, excuse my French, what
This,
the fuck
yeah.
is she
it's like
talking
it's
about?
How
like
gonna
put
help?
your
I
head
mean, really? Yeah.
put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye.
Goodbye.
Because there's nothing you can do. But
Right.
the thing is, the nuclear weapons that the bombs that was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. People think they were number one. If you tell them about it, they think it's a bomb that hit the ground and it blew up like a bomb. Those were detonated over those cities. That's number one. Never hit the ground,
That's
right?
right. That's
And
right.
then number two is the nuclear thing. If they're talking about nuclear things, it nuclear weapons it had no way, shape, or form reflect what was dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. But people have no idea what they're talking about, including the person who occupies the White House. Yet and still, we're killing people and spending billions and billions of dollars. Do you think the 80-year-old person who's is in the Senate who doesn't understand what Wi-Fi and what Facebook means and think it's done through tubes and wires understands what a nuclear weapon is? He's still thinking about Dr. Strangelove or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, that's another thing. Fail Safe. That movie, that film had a serious impact, I think, because it was filmed in black and white.
Black and it, mean it
Certain
kind of meant it was
seriousness,
serious, right?
certain
Yeah,
gravitas, like a documentary. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I, I
and they talk about documentaries like the documentary about concentration camps during the
hmm
Nazi regime.
Mhm.
It was a
Shadow and
black and
Bone.
white. It was black and white, and so people who eschew black and white, they'll miss out on that documentary. Do I have to colorize it for you to see Birkenwald and Doctow?
I
Do I have to?
don't I don't think that was it Ivan Dixon's Nothing But a Man.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't think it would have had the impact that it did had it been filmed in color.
And maybe sometimes we need to rip away, or this the things that distractions, and maybe that's what it is. That color, in some instances, is a distraction, and to see the thing as it is, pure, stark, naked. You know,
I can't think of the images of the Nazi concentration camps. I can't think of them in color.
I
Nah,
know. And the thing is, but the people who were there, of course, that's all they have is that horrific memory.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes to get your point across, which I guess is lost today, it's best to film in black and white.
I
Hmm.
can't think of the bombs that was dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima in color.
I think it's when we think of those things, they are unadorned, right? Basic, plain, and
Stripped,
unadorned
yeah,
truth.
stripped of
Yeah.
all. Like, oh, look, it's beautiful, and maybe in a certain cruel and sadistic way. When that bomb was dropped over those cities, it emitted colors that may be considered beautiful, but I can only see it in black and white because that's the only way it was made available to us.
Right, and that's the understanding that we have of it, and that, but maybe that's why we have this concept, like this stark brutality of these things, because we saw them like that in black and white, and that's the understanding we have of it.
But the Vietnam War came to us in our living rooms in color.
Hmm.
Well, in my living room, it came in black and white.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
But
but there are images. There are images you can go back now, and it's not enhanced.
Yeah, but
Like that
that's the
guy
reason.
shooting
But
that
that's
got that lady in the head and that dude in the head and stuff.
but that's the reason why America believed it. One, it was the first war actually brought into their living room and in color, so you couldn't escape it. They couldn't say, "Oh, that just happened a while ago," because it's in black and white and it's not really important. When it in your living room every night in color, you can't avoid it.
well,
You can't deny it, I should say.
for me back then, I couldn't understand it because at my age, I was like, why are these soldiers constantly shooting into the bushes? Because every
Hmm.
night on the 6 o'clock news, that's all it was to me. Just soldiers shooting into the bush, and I'm like, and actually, as young as I was, I thought that some way the Vietnam War was a continuation of us fighting Japan.
Hmm.
Okay, because that's how I was brought up. That every Asian person
In
was,
your mind,
yeah,
was a
wa-
Japanese person.
yeah, and we were taught that Ho Chi Minh was such a evil person. When it come to find out, he believed in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and all of that, but he got stabbed in the back by our country.
Hmm.
It's all confused. I
Yeah.
mean, I thought it was you thought it was that. I thought it had something to do with the Korean War or something. I had no idea. We have no idea what's going on,
Things being
and
done in our name
yeah.
overseas.
And the thing
Mm,
is now when they, back in the day, you see, Sonia talked about the images of Vietnam War being brought into our
Hmm.
living rooms in color, and then as this country becomes more and more aware of the power of imagery, you don't see any of these casualties that are happening in the war now. You don't see that. You don't see
Hmm.
any of those
oh
being brought
no,
into your living room at all,
no,
right?
no.
So it's like as the wars went along, you saw less of it during the Iraq War, the first one, and then
Hmm.
you saw
Hmm.
less than that after the
Even
second
less.
Iraq
Yeah.
War, and then you saw less of it in the stuff in Afghanistan, and now you see nothing at all. All you see is a guy in the White House fighting with Rosie O'Donnell
Yeah,
about some bullshit. That's what you see in color.
and that's because the Pentagon learned their lesson from Vietnam. Yeah,
Yep.
Now you
yeah,
see nothing in color. The only thing you see in color is the purple marks on the dude's hands.
Mm.
and his orange face.
Yeah, that's all you see in color. But the things that you do see is in bright color, right? Colorized, not colorized, but in color. And I think the images that are just as legitimate or more legitimate that were in the past in black and white are being just cast aside.
Mm.
I mean, there's a documentary. What is it? History Channel. I think they run a bunch of stuff like World War II in color,
Yeah.
and I don't know whether it's colorized or those actual film, but they have like you know a film of Hitler and all this stuff and color and stuff like that?
And I think in a way, those things I think actually are good.
You think they're
I like
good?
no, I could say I like to see things like Hitler and stuff in color because then they understand it wasn't that long ago. And this is
Right,
a
Exactly.
real
right,
Yeah.
person, and they really did this. This is not,
right,
make believe. This is real, you
Yeah.
right,
know?
right.
This was a real MF here. This
That's
is a
Yeah,
right.
real thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. It makes it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so, yeah, this is like this didn't happen like the long ago. It's like when we were growing up, and I heard about the horrible story of the Emmett Till.
hmm
I thought that had happened like in the 30s or something like
So
that.
did I. So did I growing up. I thought it was something that happened way in the past.
Well,
And
that goes back to, like I said a couple of podcasts ago, that our parents tried to kind of shield us from this,
absolutely. I
and,
believe that's
and
true.
because they did, we were under the false impression that we were moving on up,
Right.
and the
Right.
struggle continues. We didn't know that we just got past all that
hmm
craziness. You know what I'm saying?
And that there was still people around who were still harboring those same thoughts,
Yeah,
and that we just didn't realize it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like just 10 years before you were born, there was a 15-year-old boy who went down south and had a car engine tied to his neck and was thrown in the river.
Mhm, mhm. See,
It's like
we
what?
yeah, but we thought we would time marches on. Remember the old TV show, which was a biography, the old one.
hmm
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
You
The one
know,
that had Winston Churchill on the front of
yeah,
it when it came out. Yeah,
and the music was perfect because
yeah,
it
and have
had,
Mike Wallace was doing it.
yeah, dan,
Yeah,
dan,
it's
dan,
just serious, right?
yeah. But we thought that all of that stuff we saw was
An-
ancient.
Ancient
hmm
stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
It's ancient stuff. It's like nobody does that anymore.
yeah.
Nobody dances like that anymore. Nobody
Hmm.
listens to any of that type of music because it's all in black and white. You mean to tell me that was like 10 years ago?
Yeah, yeah. I can remember my son, my oldest son. He actually used to not like old black and white film because he said it scared him the way people had jerky movements. And I told him, I said, I,
He sound like Penelope's sister.
yeah,
My older sister, she liked claymation because of the herky jerky movement.
yeah, but see, I had to explain to him. I said the reason why those old films with Babe Ruth and whatnot, it was a herky jerky movement, is because the cameraman that was winding the camera, and in order for you to get a nice smooth film, you had to do it at a constantly. You had to maintain a constant pace.
hmm
Okay,
Yeah.
if your arm got tired, or if you cranked it too fast or too slow, that's how come you got those old,
Herky
uh,
jerky stuff.
hmm
yeah, movement. It looked like you see Babe Ruth running around the bases
Yeah, it's
like,
like, damn, how he ever play ball? It's like, you gotta be kidding me. That
yeah,
short dude with that little feet,
yeah, and
I
he
strike his ass out all the
well,
time.
actually, he was a big dude,
He like
not
his little ass feet. Come
yeah,
on,
yeah,
man.
he had bowling pin legs, and
Yeah, like
yeah,
come
Yeah.
on.
but
Spindly arms and
yeah,
spindly
But
legs.
the thing is, when you see these people, like you say, in black and white, right, and he's running around the bases and stuff like that, you think of it being a long, long time ago, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
And but then at the same time, you have the Negro League going
right,
on,
right,
and we, in my mind, I don't feel that was like a long, long time ago, and I feel like that it was close enough that we would have known people who had been denied access.
right.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
growing up, I didn't even know that a Negro League existed. Come to find out, the last Negro League team folded the year before I was born in 1960.
Isn't
Isn't that
that crazy?
amazing?
Isn't that insane?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
insane that they have that. I mean, Cranston's not on the show, but the story that he told that he actually saw and actually encountered personally encountered a water fountain that was segregated. It's like that's
hmm
Yeah, and
insane.
colored zone, whites only uh,
Yeah.
signs. Wow,
I
man. I mean,
mean,
what the heck?
that's I mean, I we Penelope and I saw a documentary about Glory, the movie Glory,
right.
and they were saying different things about Glory and some true things and some things they got a lot of things they got right, some other things they got wrong. But they showed a picture of a Civil War, several Civil War soldiers, including
Hmm.
Frederick Douglass's
Sons.
Sons
sons that were in the
who were in
war.
that unit.
But
Yeah,
I thought that for some reason I thought that we all heard of Matthew Brady, right? We heard of that.
right.
But I thought that only those pictures that he took like that were only for like really really super important people like the president of the United States or Frederick Douglass himself or something. But they had a lot of pictures from ordinary people like
Yeah.
the Frederick Douglass sons or other people who were in the Union Army and in the
hmm
Confederate Army,
Hmm.
and it surprised me that they had pictures at all. I'm thinking, thank God they had pictures at all, as opposed to why don't they have pictures in color?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
Well. See, part of what a lot of people don't know is that Matthew Brady, he had a team of people. He also had a lot of competition. Okay, you had other photographers taking pictures just like he was,
Hmm.
you know. And another thing is that we just thought it was the 54th Massachusetts. No, you had the 23rd Colored Regiment, and you also
Hmm.
here in New York you had the 21st. Okay, Colored Regiment. They used to actually, ironically, they used to practice and train on Rikers Island
Hmm.
before it was a prison. So
I didn't even know that technology existed like that. That they could take pictures like that in the 1860s. So I was like, wow, I'm gonna look at all that stuff, and I think some people, I'm looking at all this stuff even before I was born, like from the 50s and the 40s and
right,
all that stuff like that. But there's some people, I think this generation, maybe it is changing, like Sonia's saying that people, this generation is more interested. But I don't. It does seem like they're interested in things that existed before their existence.
Well, that's because to make classes more attractive, things have been eliminated. Like somebody told me, and I don't haven't been able to verify, but some classes, film history classes, don't start until like Star Wars or Godfather and things
And
like
that's
that. And
their
I'm like,
concept of
but
history.
you're missing what influenced them.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
But they like, oh, because budget cuts or some class. I've seen some semester. No, I shouldn't say semester, but terms that are only like 5 weeks now. You
Yeah,
can't go through all of film history in 5 weeks.
but also you have to figure that the film schools and film classes, many of them are not as esoteric. They're actually almost vocational in nature.
Yeah.
That you tell me how can I do that thing that they did? That's that kind of mindset instead
Yeah,
of yeah.
and you don't even use they don't even use the same camera angles and stuff
Hmm.
anymore. And so, along with the elimination of black and white film, they're losing they're pushing aside all the techniques of filmmaking. So it's like I don't need to do all that to tell a story. I don't need to do a Dutch angle. I don't need to do the Orson Welles Citizen Kane. I'm just telling a story, okay? Just let me tell my story.
And
So
that's
and,
not good.
and so
That's
instead you had the story of Timothy Chalamet playing ping pong and stuff. That's just I'm just telling the story. All I need is one or two cameras.
Hmm.
Just leave me alone. and I don't need to do all this other extra stuff showing, the upshot of someone's face, or behind someone's back, or some other camera technique. I'm throwing all that stuff away. It's too much.
No,
I just want
Yeah,
to
but
show.
and what's problematic then is that, for instance, that this film, like you talk about Dutch angles and scenes done, without sound, that this is a
Or
language.
without any music at all.
Yes,
Like we saw a
yeah,
movie last night called the talk about B movies, but a very good B movie called The Leopard Man, about Val Lewton and Jacques Tourneau. Just the absence of music. Just people moving and talking, right?
mhm.
Well,
And you know,
I said that in these issues that used to be a language of filmmaking. That when you're doing this, other filmmakers, people who watch film, understand that when, like you say, a Dutch angle, when they take the scene and they tilt it, and so
right.
this is something that's a little off, off angle,
Thank you.
a little bit
Thank you.
off kilter here is going on. And so it's a
Thank you.
language that we all understand as viewers. But when you remove those things and everything is just, there's, oh, look at this monster, or you go in this room, this person's going to jump out and do a thing to you. It's so literal, you know,
yeah, it's
and
become it's
no
become TV.
foreshadowing.
It
Yeah.
become like TV shows.
Okay,
Like
okay.
Well, in
Let me
fact,
tell you.
Go on,
TV shows are
okay, go,
going
go, go,
back.
well, hold up. James, get ready to say something. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
let me tell you this. This is one TV show that whenever they showed the villains, I knew they were villains because it was they were just off kiltered, and that was
Hmm.
Batman.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, whenever you saw the Joker or the Riddler,
yeah, I
the
noticed
camera
that.
was
But you know what?
angled.
As a kid watching that, I didn't know what that meant. But
No,
as I grew up, you're absolutely
yeah,
right.
no, to me back then, I was like, something ain't right with these dudes.
yeah. And they're giving you those clues, that visual cue of
Yeah,
that this guy has got some issues. And Sonia,
Yeah, that
so
went
you want to say
that
something,
went way
Sonia?
over my head. I
Yeah,
did not know.
yeah,
I'm
but
saying that some TV are starting to bring it back. Not so much films, but I just watched an episode of Daredevil, and things were. I saw that tilt, and I'm like, oh, how if they go any further, they're gonna, my mom used to call it dip into the chocolate because it's Dutch chocolate, get it?
mhm,
But that's how my mom and I would do the shorthand, and you'd see they're doing subtle things like all the Daredevil scenes were tinted in red, and all the Kingpin things were a little washed out, like his
mhm,
white suit,
mhm.
so that you realize
Yeah,
things aren't quite. So some people are starting to pay attention to those old skills. I just don't think that a lot of people understand what they mean,
yeah,
or and I don't know if they're being taught that, but so there may be, like there's a resurgence in black and white, there may be a resurgence in all those other subtle things that we take for granted
yeah,
because we know
I,
the shorthand.
I
yeah.
hope so. I hope so.
Also, I mean, Cranston's not here again, but I remember, the reboot of the Twilight Zone, the Jordan Peele version, and I said, "Hey, they should do it in black and white. Should have done it in black and white." And everyone in the room laughed at me
We
until
didn't
until
laugh, but we just said, okay.
yeah, but then they made it back in black and white. I think it was more impactful
Oh God,
this
he's at
Yeah.
it
time.
again.
Right.
Yeah,
It's more impactful. But I think movies have become like TV because TV has become more even with movies now, right? So
Yeah,
you
same
used to
budget.
watch movies. Yeah, you used to watch movies, and movies did things that television show didn't do. Different angles, really grand music, the
yeah,
Bernard Herrmann stuff,
yeah,
and then they became equal. And now you're seeing movies look like TV shows where everything is it look like it's shot with one camera or two cameras or something, and they're not doing anything cutting edge or anything. Once again, they're basically saying if you're lying in bed and you're watching your TV, then you're gonna feel. We want you to feel the same way when you go to a movie theater. We're
yeah.
not going to ask anything of you. Don't get up. You gotta go to the bathroom. That's gonna be okay. When you
Hmm.
come back, everything's gonna be the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the
We're
bigger
not
the
asking too
TV
much of
screen
you.
TV screens are getting bigger, so now that people
Yeah,
are
and like yeah,
having
I was thinking the same thing, Sonia. Go ahead.
people are having more creativity with TV, where because we got out of habit of going to theater in for COVID, people are reacting differently. I
Yeah,
think that's part.
and also with the bigger screen, this concept that now that space between giant screen in the film in a theater and the tiny screen in your house, that it's getting
Mhm.
blurred.
and
And I,
and even the smaller, when people watching it on their phones or a tablet, even
mhm,
those have more detail, so
yeah,
you can see more. Even if it's a smaller screen, you can still see more resolution. That's it, the
Well,
higher
yeah, well,
resolution.
I know that's true because I saw like an old episode of Twilight Zone, the Burgess Meredith, when he says
mhm,
"time enough at last,"
yes,
and then
Oh,
I
sorry.
never noticed how much like the beads of sweat on his head when
yeah, yeah,
when the bomb explodes and he finds out that it exploded and
mhm,
he's milling around trying to find stuff. You never notice that until you see it in high def, right? High
yes,
definition.
yes, and it's
And
very
I
vivid.
don't know. It had to be when they shot it. They had to
You
know that it was there. Maybe they knew. They said, "Well,
felt it back then, though.
hmm,
But even if you didn't see the beads of sweat, you
mm-hmm."
felt the bird. You could
I
feel it.
felt it.
Or
Right,
that the
The
picture,
right,
I mean,
music.
the camera is picking it up, and every
right,
time we get the higher resolution, it's like,
right,
yeah, it's there. I mean, it was
right.
always there.
It
We
was
just didn't have
always
the
there.
means to be able to see it.
Right, right.
You
Right.
know?
Or the fact that someone's hair is misplaced, or
Mhm.
strands of hair you know how people hair is
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So that is all over the place. But by the way, black people's froze are still good in high def, man.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
still. I'm watching a documentary on the Silvers.
Oh man, yeah.
Man, their froze are still
Afros.
good, even in high definition.
Mm.
I wish my afro looked like that. My still look like I slept in them all the time.
Well, yeah, they had professional help with theirs, so I think.
But yeah, the high definition and all that stuff makes black and white even more
Yes, it
impactful to
is. It
me.
is. The high definition in what you call it, the black and white is impeccable. I mean, it is
Well, yeah, it's
extremely.
impeccable, and
Yeah.
not to throw away color because I'm watching right now when I'm talking to y'all. I'm watching the That Girl channel,
Hmm.
which was everyone knows is shot in the '60s and early '70s, and it makes New York look like a box of Crayola crayons.
Hmm.
It's so much color. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
so
yeah.
many blues
Yes,
and
yes, yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, some color stuff is fantastic. I love the opening to that girl, that the colors and stuff. And we think about yesterday, as I was talking to Nikki about, I think it was Nikki that I was talking to about. Oh no, I was talking to Evan about Mad Men and how the colors reflect those same colors that we saw in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. You
Well,
know.
don't forget that at that time, during the '60s, shows like Star Trek, That Girl,
Hmm.
they were emphasizing colors because it was a thing of let's get these people to buy color TVs.
Hmm.
Okay, I mean RCA would push it. Remember the old NBC with the peacock
Yes.
and in color.
yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Yeah,
so me seeing that on the Peacock on my TV is like, why is that happening now? I don't
It's
understand.
okay. It's
yeah,
nice.
I
Sometimes
don't
it's
have
nice.
any color.
I mean, you're looking at it, you say, okay, that's nice,
Yeah,
right?
that's nice. Just
but
show
yeah,
Bonanza.
yeah. But back then they wanted to sell as many RCA, Zenith,
Hmm.
Motorola,
Right,
Magnavox,
right, right.
Well, now
Admiral,
it's yeah,
whatever.
and now resolution and size are the big sell points.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm looking at this That Girl thing, and the street signs in New York are they're yellow. I don't know any place in the world where street sign where the I could see like a sign for a street on a corner, and
Hmm.
it's in different colors. It's like in yellow, or it's all the different colors, or you have like the cab. Even the yellow cabs are yellow. Make your brights brighter or something. It's like,
Hmm. Hmm.
now that's a cab.
Well,
you know,
that
like,
that's when the boroughs had like the Bronx was blue field, white numbers. Queens was a white field, blue numbers. Manhattan was yellow. Brooklyn was a brown field and white. And Staten Island, I don't know.
I don't go out there. But
Yeah,
the
no.
thing is that
Okay.
no, what a city of colors.
Mm-hmm.
What a city of colors. Also very dirty. And
Yeah.
so
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us
it's
know that.
also smell like urine for the most part. A lot of
That,
places.
that was
Okay. Well,
that
thank
was
you
the
for.
funny that was
But
the funny fun city days.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing, it was so colorful though.
Yeah.
It was so it looked like a Batman episode. It was so much color.
Yeah. Plus, with during the psychedelic period,
Yes.
with
Now
Yes.
you can't
hippies and
show
all that.
that. You can't show that in
That can't be in black
black
and
and
white.
white. No,
Yeah.
No.
that girl, Mad Men can't be in black and white.
Yeah.
But if you was to film something in New York along the lines of like the old NYPD in
Yeah,
black and white, that would, if it was like a crime show like that,
yeah,
that
that's
would,
serious stuff though. That's
yeah,
serious stuff.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that's serious. That's serious. But the other stuff is like, I was watching the trailer for my one of my most anticipated movies, Godzilla minus zero,
Mm-hmm.
and they were showing, and I'm not doing any spoilers. It's in the trailer. So they have Godzilla walking past the Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of people know that it's that what the color of Statue of Liberty is.
Really? How would they
I
not
don't think.
know?
I think a lot of people don't know. Just like people don't know. Like I watched Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein and all the Frankenstein movies. I did not know that his skin was supposed to be green.
Hmm.
What?
Till later, I didn't know that till late. I didn't know that Herman Monster's face was he was supposed to be his skin color was green.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, you know
Eh,
what?
eh,
I did not know until I was older about Herman
Yeah,
being green,
right.
and I saw that the what is it? The movie, the Munster movie in color. That is when I saw that he was green. I
It's
didn't even think
green.
about it.
I had
I
no
mean, I didn't think
idea.
about it.
Yeah, I thought it was like ash and gray or
Gray.
something.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah,
gray. Absolutely.
nah, I remember. Listen, I remember model kits back then,
Hmm.
and like dolls and other stuff. It was, yeah, green. As a
I
matter of
didn't know.
fact, as a matter of fact, I came across a little treasure trove of paperbacks, and I have a paperback by Forrest Ackerman, who it was a dedication to Boris Karloff, because
Hmm.
Boris Karloff, I guess, had passed away earlier that year, and Frankenstein Monster is great.
I did not know that.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people don't know the color of the Statue of Liberty. They have no
Well,
idea what it
she
is.
started out copper
Yeah,
and then tuned, and
Seawater.
then Marvel screwed it up for a lot of people because it had movies that were supposed to be concurrent with each other, and one they're restoring her back to her copper, and the other one she's still green. So
I
you can
remember
see
in
younger people.
1986. I remember 1986. They were doing the project cleaning the Statue of Liberty off because they said it had been neglected, and I was like, whoa, I wonder what it looks like underneath all that gunk.
Hmm.
And basically, it was the same damn color, just a little brighter,
Yeah. Well,
just a
you
little
know what?
brighter.
The issue is the oxidation of the copper.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's what it is
and if
now.
you clean too much, you'll make her fall apart.
Yeah, you destroy the integrity of the entire metal of the sheeting. So I said, don't bother
Yeah,
with
I
it.
mean, there's certain movies because I didn't have a color television
Right?
that I saw in black and white because that's all I had. Like Planet of the Apes. I don't think seeing it in color adds anything to me.
No, not for me. I know, I don't know, but you know what? I can't. I'm lying because I never saw it in black and white. I only saw it in
I
color.
saw it in black and white.
I
I
only
mean, for
saw it in
those
color.
of you who were like me, who were basically living on Skid Row,
All right. Anyway, anyway,
when you saw Planet of the Apes in color, did it make a difference to you to
Nah,
seeing it in color?
I saw with me, I saw the Planet of the Apes movies, the whole series in the movie theaters.
Oh, well, you're lucky.
And yeah, and it made a difference for me because of the fact that it differentiated between the chimps were, I think, green, and
They got
the
green chimps.
no, the green. They dressed in green
Oh,
Yeah.
clothes.
Gretchen. Oh,
Yeah,
Everybody
okay.
had
and
different colors
yeah,
clothing.
different
Remember?
colors.
Oh, okay.
You
Color
Hierarchy.
know,
scheme. See,
Hierarchy. Yeah.
in my black and white life, I differentiated between the darkness of the fur of the apes.
Hmm.
right?
So, like the light fur apes were seen to be elite, and the darker fur apes were military or lower level thing apes or something.
Now for me, Star Trek, I I didn't know what color the uniforms
Hmm.
were
Yeah, I didn't know
because
either.
again we didn't have a color TV. I didn't know what color the uniforms were until we went to my class. We went on a field trip to Rockefeller Center, and I kid you not, they used to have a little room off to the side of 30 Rock where you could go in and see previews of shows for the upcoming television season.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would play it on a nonstop loop, and I remember seeing Star Trek. I guess by then it was the Lucy show,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh wow, what's going on with this here Star Trek? I didn't know what
Well, I'll tell you
color they
what
were.
though, my mother should be very happy that I never saw any of these shows in color because I would have bitched and moaned that we had to buy a color TV set.
Yeah. See, there we
I would
go.
have bitched. I would have worried that woman to death until
That's
we
so
got color.
terrible.
But a lot of stuff, like Lost in Space, it started out in black and white and then eventually
Hmm.
became color.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
the
Yes.
black and white episodes are better than the color episodes.
yeah,
Hmm.
because again, it was all about. I mean, television was relatively a new medium,
Right.
and it was about selling televisions.
Hmm.
I mean, Chicago had the biggest television factories in the country. And it was all about selling TV. So then the networks and the production companies saw, in fact, I guess the networks were like, listen, y'all gotta start filming in color, you know,
Hmm.
especially, well, RCA was the leader.
Because they
Hmm.
probably own a stake in his TV.
They did.
That do.
Yeah, RCA owned the National Broadcasting Company.
Hmm.
Okay, and basically RCA had a monopoly over radio and TV. Okay, at one point RCA had NBC and they had two networks. They said they had the NBC Blue network and the NBC Red network. They were taken to court antitrust,
Hmm.
so they were forced to spin off. I forget which one, and the one that was spin off became ABC.
Hmm.
Okay, and so it was all about selling TV. So a lot of shows switched to color. I think Gilligan's Island,
Yeah, that was
black
in
and
black
white.
and white. Gunsmoke
Right,
was
right,
in
yeah,
black and white, then color. Bonanza was in
yep,
black and white, then color.
yeah,
But it seemed to me a lot, and maybe because of the timing, and because these are newer shows,
Hmm.
but the quality of the shows seem to change as I've watched the repeats. The quality goes down when they go over into color.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because the networks were just again they were about the dollar, and they were like NBC is like, well, listen, you got to cut the budget for Bonanza, and they're
Hmm.
like, wait a minute, this is the top show. Nah, you gotta make cut it because the advertisers they're not happy with the rates that we're asking for advertisement, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
So yeah, the shows went down, and
Because of color film or something. It's like little Joe has to ride a brown horse instead of a black.
well, it's the weird. It was the weird economics
Hmm.
of of television back then. I mean, thank God if thank God you didn't have to deal with producing a cartoon.
Hmm.
Okay, because
Because every cartoon that I grew up with, we all grew up with, was in color, but I didn't see it in color, but I knew it was in color. I knew
Right.
Spider-Man was in color because it said it. Spider-Man in color. I said, I don't,
Yeah,
that
but
don't
with
mean
the,
that don't mean nothing to me, but I know it's in color.
but
Some
with the
kid around the
yeah,
country is watching that color.
but with the cartoons, they would get really crumbs. They would get
Yeah.
crumbs for production. Um, Case in point, Spider Man. The networks felt that the first season of Spider Man back then was costing them too much, so they said, "Okay, we're going to change animators and whatnot." And they brought in what's his name, Ralph Baskey.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Bosky, yeah.
Yeah.
Bosky. They
Hmm.
brought him in, and that killed that killed Spider Man because he went from the first season they was dealing with, the hop the Goblin
Mm-hmm.
and all that. Then in the second season they were dealing with mythical Vikings and and monsters from outer space and all
I don't
that.
Okay.
know what I don't know. Yeah, yeah. He just I'm a fan of Bosky. I think he's for the Bronx, right? Or Brooklyn or something. One of the boroughs. I
Yeah,
forgot which one he's from, but yeah, he's kind of fucked that up. But
yeah.
at the same time though, it's like if you had to choose between watching a television show in color or black and white, which one would you choose and
Mm-hmm.
why? Because there's no black and white TVs anymore, right? When the last time you guys saw a black and white television?
Mm-mm.
It's probably somebody in Afghanistan has.
Yeah, I don't know if they even make them, right? They don't Do they even make them anymore?
More
N-
expensive to make black and white now.
Isn't
yeah,
that crazy? Isn't that insane?
But I think back in the day, I remember when you used to be able to, uh, on your television, to take the color out. Remember that?
Yeah, there was a
I don't know if you
switch.
do
Yeah,
that
yeah,
anymore. Can we do that now still, or we don't get can't do that now anymore?
not
I don't
it.
I
think
don't think you
so.
can. I don't think you can do that. Televisions don't have buttons and stuff on them anymore.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is true. This is a very
yeah,
true thing.
and I mean, if they're trying to get rid of radios in cars these days,
I
yeah,
don't understand why.
I don't understand neither. I guess it's
Satellites don't have there's no reach of service. Satellites can go anywhere. Radios have a limit on how far they can go,
Yeah, but that's
and more
cool.
parts, more pieces and parts in the process thing, where all you need is just one antenna just comes go point straight at the satellite.
Yeah, but it sure doesn't give you, like your low. I mean, let's face it. Where we are, they don't barely give us the local reports anyhow. You know, for local news, anything. They just don't do it anymore.
But you remember we used to travel
Mm-hmm.
from one part of the state to the other part of the state, and so
Mm-hmm.
you used to lose your city's
Yep.
radio station that you used to listening to,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
and all
then
of a sudden you
the
had to
new one.
listen to something like country music, some bullshit like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No joke.
That's how I found out people listen to country music up in New England. My God.
So what is this?
uh,
Why are they doing this
what?
to me?
Ooh.
Why? Why?
Oh God. Oh boy, yeah, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, but if you had a choice between watching a television show in black and white color, which would you choose?
I mean, for myself, there's certain shows that are in black and white that we watch. That we like. And they're like Perry Mason, the old Perry Masons. Those are in black and white, and those are great shows. I enjoy watching those shows. Um, there are what is it? The old Twilight Zone. We have the old
Yeah, yeah,
the what is it? Alfred Hitchcock. All
yeah,
that stuff is all in black and white. All really
But
good programming.
all those shows have been colorized too, so you have a choice.
yeah, yeah. But again, I guess for nostalgic reasons, okay,
Hmm.
and see, like, okay, with as a writer, right, that short story collection that I did, I kind of for every different story, I kind of picture it as if it was going to be on TV.
Mm.
Like the I guess you would call the catalyst or pilot episode
Hmm.
of in my book, The Cavendish Affair.
What
For
is it, black and white or is it in color?
I would see it as in black and white, and I would see it as being on Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Even
That's great.
I kid you not. Every time I open the book and I look at the title, the Cavendish Affair, I hear that little music, like, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. So, and then there's other stories in the book. I see it as Tales from the Dark Side
Hmm.
or
In
something. So
color, in
yeah, in
color,
color.
in
So
color.
it goes back and forth for me. Um, I guess watching old Twilight Zone or whatever in black and white, it's like comfort food,
Hmm.
because I can remember, I was the youngest in the house, and I'd sit in front of the TV and watch the Twilight Zone, and I get nostalgic for those days, you know.
Yeah.
But what about you, Penelope? Do you see your stories in black and white or in color?
Oh, color. Absolutely.
All the time?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And
Color.
Sonia, you write stories as well?
Occasionally, yeah.
You see
It,
yours
d-
in color or black and white?
it depends on the situation.
The
When I
situation
like
or the
the the,
situation or
the situation
the
of the story,
theme.
the story situation.
Hmm.
Like I have one that I'm writing. I'm sketching out about but it involves butterflies. That one has to be in color because the colors of the butterflies have a significance.
Hmm.
But some of the other stuff, like what I'm writing nonfiction, I tend to see I can still visualize it somehow, and those tend to be more black and white because they feel like more of a historical. When I write my nonfiction, tends to feel more historical, so those tend to feel more black and white.
Then my question is, if you have an audience right now, right, and they're being groomed to require less, less is required from them, right? And now they see these black and white, you know, this black and white entertainment, and these composers that we talked about that requires more emotional investment. Are they? Do you think audiences are willing to do that? The audiences today and the audiences going forward.
I think most of them are, because most of them are now looking for, you know make entertain me on a higher level. They're more selective of what they spend their money on.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean,
No,
we saw.
there are some things where you just give me something.
Well, we saw the movie Penelope. Is God is,
Hmm.
and I think a lot of people had a lot of I think it was highly rated. I think Penelope didn't think.
I think
Yeah,
it did okay.
and
Yes.
that movie didn't require anybody. I mean, just laid it all. I mean, there was no
Yeah.
subtlety
No
or
subtlety, no
implicit.
nuance.
No, I didn't require your audience to do any thinking. It didn't require anything of it at all. And I can't think of a movie within recent years that required the audience to do something, or you know what I mean,
Hmm.
or think something, or it just laid it out. Here it is, A B C D E. You know,
Well,
Th-
I mean that's it, that's good in some ways because see, that's what I like about B movies. You
Hmm.
don't have to think. Picture, take your brain out your head, put it on the seat next to you, and get
what
some
is a bad
popcorn.
B movie that you've been watching, man? I'm talking about like some of those movies, those B movies, like the Val Luton's B movies, and some of those other B movies. They're kind of thought provoking.
Well, I just know with me that when it comes to B movies, I don't look for anything thought provoking. I just want to be
Hmm.
entertained. I just want to sit down with my burger and fries and my old English or whatever
Hmm.
and just enjoy. Now, with other movies, yes, that's when I look for something thought provoking. Okay.
Hmm.
A couple of days ago, in fact, this would be a B movie that would be thought provoking
And
is
it's in black and white.
it's in black and white, directed by John Cassavetes, called Shadows.
Hmm.
Okay, I found it to be very entertaining because it was about that whole beatnik bebop era in the village, and it's about a family of of two black men and their sister, but the sister and one of them was passing, and also the fact that the way John Cassavetes filmed it, it's all improvisation.
Why is it B
I think
movie
I
then?
remember this.
Yeah, I do too. Why is it a B movie though?
I guess because see, some B movies are only considered B because of their budget.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
That makes sense.
yeah, some consider B movie because of their budget. That's why it's considered B. I found it very entertaining. I also loved it because a lot of people I recognize that worked in television and film later popped up in this movie. Like lo and behold, Fred Sanford's girlfriend.
Which
Donna.
one? Donna?
Yeah,
Hmm.
she popped up in it, when she was younger. And this one white actor that played in like thousands of cowboy um, TV shows, he popped up in it. And also Gene Shepard. He was the one that did, was it a Christmas Story?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, he had something to do with it. And it's no way it would be lost if John Cassavetes had filmed it in color.
Right.
It
Right.
Mm-hmm.
just it
Right.
just wouldn't work because it had that black and whiteness.
Color existed at the
Yeah,
time that Cassavetes made the film.
yeah,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So he decided to do it in black and white for
Right,
obvious reasons.
right. Yeah,
Or
because
no, not so obvious reasons. I don't know what the
it
obvious.
Probably
just
cost. Probably cost
it costs. Yeah,
concern.
because at that time I think he was still doing Johnny Staccato on TV. You
Hmm.
know, but it's looking at it, it's no way it would have worked in color.
Mm-hmm.
It
Well,
just
you
wouldn't have.
talk about Cassavetes. You talk about Rosemary Baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There's no way that that movie would be as frightening in black and white
right, right, exactly.
because
And
it shows such a colorful New York and so colorful and it's so
Mm-hmm.
so vibrant and
mm,
so deadly at the same time, right?
and again, that was partly because of course, because William Castle was another king of the bees.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay, and actually, ironically, that movie finally put him on the A list.
yeah. I remember the background Penelope I was watching, and they were saying Castle bought the rights to the movie. And he got everything done and said, "Well, we're ready to go with this movie. The only thing is, you cannot direct this movie.
And I put your name on this thing. Yeah.
You cannot you cannot direct this movie."
And
Mm-hmm.
I can see the movie in second to somebody says, you.
You cannot direct this movie. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
he was the dude outside the phone booth because
Yeah. Stand
Rosemary was
out
making the
there.
call.
Yeah. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, well, he was a poor man's Alfred Hitchcock. He was a poor man. He's also trying to be like Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, like the movie The Tingler. You know that the Tingler
Yeah, man. Yes.
with Vincent
Scream.
Price.
Scream.
Yeah, so that movie can't be in black. That movie can't be in color.
It can't. It
It
can't.
can't. But House of Wax was right.
Yes, but House of Wax, of course, because of the concept of the Wax Museum, I think that you could. I know there are things that we saw. Was it Alfred Hitchcock or was it Twilight Zone where they did have the Wax Museum concept? But let's face it, it's a lot better in color.
You think it's better in color?
Wax Museum things are, I think, is
Wow.
because they're
Okay.
trying to make the person look as much like that person as they
Right.
can.
Right.
So, I do like to see those things in color because does it look like them? Does it have the right skin tone, etc. But we
Yeah.
get down to like the last few minutes of the show, and so if with regard to does it make a difference? Does it matter if it's black and white? Uh, I does anybody have any thoughts? Does it matter really? I mean, we've discussed the fact that in certain instances it does. You
I think
know,
quickly it does matter. I think what matters most to me as a consumer is that the black and white movies are not pushed to the side along with silent movies, which is not only black and white but also silent. And I don't know how to get the today's audience to take notice of any of these older films that were out before any of us were born. Any of
yeah,
our parents were born, but it's still
Get the get them a pass to Fathom Entertainment because they're the ones bringing back some of the old movies back into the movie houses.
yeah, that's good.
yeah. But like I was talking to Penelope this morning, and she was saying she had never seen a Charlie Chaplin film until I had
Yeah,
introduced her
yeah,
to
until after
him.
we met.
But it's like if you live in the city of New York, growing up,
Yep.
you saw Channel 9 WOR. All
Hmm.
they showed was that stuff for the
Yeah.
most part.
Channel 9 and Channel 13.
Mm,
Yeah. And you also had like art houses, what they
hmm.
call, art house film houses down in Manhattan. But I hope I hope that some people will get into black and white film.
Hmm.
But I look at it like this: it
Oh,
has to
heavy
be,
breathing.
yeah, it has to be. To me, it's a rite of passage.
Hmm.
If you are really into film, okay, well let's go the whole 9-10 yards and see how you can relate to black and white film. Because let's
Yeah.
also remember you have a lot of great black and white films that from other countries.
Hmm.
Okay, real quick case in point, All Night Long with Patrick McGowan, which is basically a bebop version of Othello.
Hmm.
You know, so I see it as a test, as a rite of passage.
Hmm. All right.
And I see it as a need for experimentation, both audience and filmmakers.
And not forget, man. I mean, you talk about international films. You're talking about Ingmar Bergman,
Hmm.
Yep.
a lot of the other Swedish films, a lot of the new wave Godot films
Hmm.
from France. They're in black and white too. So there's just so much to miss out
Education.
by cutting yourself off from that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we got a few seconds basically for everybody to say if you had a black and white film, black and white show that you would want to recommend to people to watch, what would yours be, Sonia?
I think I'd go with the new one that Marvel did, Midnight. That one was interesting, and it was a very it reminded me a lot of the old school films. So that would
Okay.
be a nice gateway into the old school films.
Okay. Midnight. And how
Yeah.
about uh, for you, James? What would you suggest?
Uh, of course, real quick, Diabolique.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, Shadows, John
Mhm.
Cassavetes,
Mhm.
and also as homework for you guys, try and figure out The Balcony. It's a black and white. It came out in 1963. It has
You got less than 2 seconds. Speed it
Ruby
up.
B in it.
Okay. All right. And Otto, anything you have?
Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I mean, there's a lot of them, and they're all in black and white, and they never transition into any color.
All right, cool. All right, you all. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a great show. We're back again here, same place, same time next week. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. I want to stay.